Evening, my brother, my sister, my father, everybody who is following the channel of Jesus Christ Project. I am inviting you to go and look at the descendants of Adam. This is the same descendants that were created to form the family of Jesus Christ. So we are following the basic or the ancient family of Jesus Christ. And because of that, we are bound to know what has happened after a, after Abel has died, after Cain has been banished. A man called Seth was born. So everything started from scratch again. Let me read for you Genesis 5:1. This is the written account of the descendants of Adam. When God created human beings, he made them to be like himself. He created them male and female, and he blessed them and called them humans. When Adam was 130 years old, he became the father of a son who was just like him in, in his very image. He named the son Seth. After the birth of Seth, Adam lived for another 800 years. And he had other sons and daughters. Adam lived for 930 years and then he died. When Seth was 105 years, he became the father of Enos. After the birth of Enos, Seth lived for another 807 years and he had other sons and daughters. Seth lived 912 years, then he died. When Enos was 90 years old, he became the father of Canaan. After the birth of Canaan, Enos lived another 815 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Enos lived for 905 years, and then he died. When Canaan was 70 years old, he became the father of Mahalalel. After the birth of Mahalalel, Canaan lived for another 840 years, and he died, and he had other sons and daughters. Canaan lived for 910 years and he died. When Mahalalel was 65 years, he became the father of Jared. After the birth of Jared, Mahalalel lived for another 830 years and he had other sons and daughters. And Mahalalel lived 895 years and then he died. When Jared was 162 years old, he became the father of Enoch. After the birth of Enoch, Jared lived for another 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Jared lived for 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he became the father of Methuselah. After the birth of Methuselah, Enoch lived in close fellowship with God for another 300 years. And he had other sons and daughters. Enoch lived for 365 years, walking in close fellowship with God. Then one day he disappeared because God took him. When Methuselah was 187 years old, he became the father of Lamech. After the birth of Lamech, Methuselah lived for another 782 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Methuselah lived 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, he became the father of a son. Lamech named his son Noah, for he said, "May he brings us relief from our work and the painful labor of farming this ground that the Lord has cursed." After the birth of Noah, Lamech lived another 595 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Lamech lived 775 years, and then he died. After Noah, after Noah was 500 years, he became the father of Sem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, if we go back to this picture, God is trying to put everything as clear as possible that in this family, there was no firstborn girl. And when God created the first human being, he created them male and female, and he called them humans. He does not go back to the creation of Adam, but he came to a date 130 years old when Adam became the father of a man called Seth. And this man, Seth, he was the one carrying the genealogy of Jesus Christ forward. And this man said, after he was born, Adam lived for another 800 years, and he has got other sons and daughters. So all these sons and daughters we are hearing about is the sons of daughters being born after the sons were born. So there was no way any member of this family started by having a baby girl. It was not like that. So they were not bearing the children so that people like Seth can have a wife. Because there were other people who were called humans. So Adam lived for 930 years and he died. And Seth was 105 when he became the father of Enos. After the birth of Enos, Seth lived for 807 years and he had other sons and daughters. Seth lived up to 912 years and then he died. When Enos was 90 years, he became the father of Canaan. After the birth of Canaan, Enos lived for another 815 years and then he had other sons and daughters. Enos lived for 905 years and then he died. When Canaan was 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. After the birth of Mahalalel, Canaan lived for another 840 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Canaan lived for 910 years, and he died. When Mahalalel was 65, he became the father of Jared. And after the birth of Jared, Mahalalel lived for 830 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Mahalalel lived 895 years, and he died. When Jared was 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. After the birth of Enoch, Jared lived for another 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Jared lived for 960 years, and he died. When Enoch was 65, he became the father of Methuselah. After the birth of Methuselah, Enoch lived in close fellowship with God for another 300 years, and he had some sons and daughters. Here we're starting to see now the relationship coming together. God is coming to oversee his people, to manage some of the members of this family. That is the reason why he lived in close relationship with Enoch for 300 years, working in close fellowship with God. Then God, realizing that how close Enoch was to him, he took him. So Enoch just disappeared because the Lord took him. And when the son of Enoch, Methuselah, was 187 years old, he became the father of Lamech. After the birth of Lamech, Methuselah lived for 782 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Methuselah lived for 969 years, then he died. When Lamech was 182 years, he became the father of a son. Lamech named him Noah, and he said, May be, may he bring us relief from our work and the painful labor of farming this ground that the Lord has cursed. It is in this situation that we can start seeing that the people were suffering. The curse was heavy. Getting food was difficult. Bearing children was very heavy. Why it has to go that route? Because God wanted his people to live under these curses. That's why even today we are living under these curses. We don't have any choice. There is no choice. There is nothing we can do to avoid all these curses. We just have to live with them. When Lamech was born. Methuselah thought something is going to happen. We've been suffering, but something must come, something big, something that will bring relief to us. Unfortunately, the curses of God were there to stay. For generation to generation until Jesus arrived, the curses continue. Jesus went away, the curses continue. Now it's our generation, the curses continue. God doesn't care. As long as our forefathers were wrong, the curse remains. As long as our forefathers has listened to the snake, the curses remain. Whether we like it or not, whether we are prayerful, whether we are Christianity, it doesn't matter. The curses remain because it's not for all the children. It's for everybody on earth. Everybody. You are a bad person, you are a killer, you are a murderer, you are someone who is very cruel. The curse is for everybody. But according to Lamech, when he gave the son Noah, he thought by giving the son Noah, maybe things will change. The painful labor of farming this ground that the Lord has cursed, maybe it will go away. Fortunate enough, God does not change because of human beings. He keeps whatever he said it will happen, and it must carry on happening. And then when Lamech has lived for 595 years and he had other sons and daughters, Lamech lived for 777 years. And after Noah was for 500 years old, he became the father of Sem, Ham, and Japheth. That is the reason why today we have got this family carrying on. That is the reason today we are the children of the Most High. It was because of this man who, by building a boat and taking care of all his children, things went well. Thank you very much for being part of this listening. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.